much as you could possibly physically do. I don't think anyone's ever, I don't think anybody, and they've written this, I don't think anybody has ever worked harder in the last month of a presidential campaign than I did. Nobody. And I covered 17 states, and I went to Maine. I needed one because they all said you cannot get to 270, right? Remember? Or they'd say it a little different. They'd say, there is no path to 270 for Donald Trump. He will not win the election. So I said, I'll get to 270. I'm going to go to Maine 2, which is 1. Okay, it's cut in half. It's called Maine 2. And I went there. I got it too, by the way. I got that one. So, right? I got it. I got that one vote. But I went to Maine, and that's the beauty of this electoral system. You know, the other, if you go with, like, the popular vote, I'd go New York State, California, back, forth,
when they raise the signs,
it would be much easier. The problem is every other place, you'd stop in Florida, you'd stop in Texas, you wouldn't see any place else. It would be so much easier.
But the thing is, you can't just run up on the stage. I wouldn't do that.
You'd never see most of the country. The electoral vote, and I never appreciated it until now, how genius it was, what they had in mind.
Really? I can't take
because at the time, they didn't want everybody going to Boston and New York.
It's their job to do that.
And everything else would be forgotten.
You know, that's what you're
and now it's the same thing. It's genius. I'm telling you, it's genius. I went to 17 states.
How?
I went to states that, you know, you just wouldn't go to. And they were great. And I went to places, frankly, that normally you wouldn't be thinking about too much. And they were incredible.
Secret Service is always around Trump.
Most of them really, really
we
came
saw some at the
so then you had
the guys in suits,
the Hillary people
Secret Service
saying that
I don't know, you won't shut up. Just stop. Stop trying to get close, just listen.
We won. Let's see. Right. We won.
I couldn't hear it because my friend.
But you had the Hillary people on, and they were saying, we are going to win the state of Florida. We have information. We're going to win.
Just
maybe their information was how many people voted illegally. Maybe that was the information. But of course, you know, when I say that, they'll say, isn't that a terrible thing that he said? Isn't that terrible?
No, it's not.
We got to look into that, folks. But the problem is, when you win Florida by that much, there's nothing much they can do. You can't have people and numbers that's bigger than the number of people. So they said, you can't win, and we're going to, you know, do it. And we end up, breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump has won the state of Florida. And these people are saying, I remember they had one guy, I guess he was mid-level, and he was saying, we're going to win the state of Florida. He's representing her. We're going to win the state of Florida. We're going to win North Carolina, but Florida's really looking strong. And the announcer said, excuse me 1 minute, we have something breaking. Breaking news. Trump has won the state of Florida. And the guy's standing like, what happened? But then they said that I can't win North Carolina. And by the way, they raised $2 billion. They spent so much more money than me. I spent like peanuts compared to what they spent. Under budget and ahead of schedule. Does that sound good?
That's called efficiency.
Under budget and ahead of schedule. Like we're going to have our roads built and our planes built. And our F-35s, one of the most expensive. Now, we're going to straighten things out.
I hate when people still hold up signs.
So what happens, you know, in the old days, you have some people here that will tell you, when you spend less money and win, that's much better than the other one. And I had cases where I was tied or up in a poll, but she had spent in a state like 50 million and I had spent like 2 million. And they said, Donald Trump is not spending the money like, and I'm saying, wait, that's a good thing. They don't understand it. That's actually a good thing. If I can do that,
that's all we need. We need someone who knows how to not waste money on unnecessary
things. I remember in the primary
things.
in New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire. And in New Hampshire, I spent a tiny amount, almost nothing. And another person, so I can't say anymore because they're all friends of mine now, but so. But another person spent like $22 million. I spent nothing and I won. And they said, before I won, like, this person was doing great because he was spending much more money. I said, yeah, but I'm going to win the state. So remember, for all the young people here, when you spend less money and you win, that's a good thing, not a bad thing, all right? Trying to depress. So then the next state was North Carolina, which is great. And they outspent me 5-1 at least. But I had my sons there and Lara and everybody. We had incredible people there. And they came out, and again, breaking news, Donald Trump has won North Carolina. That was unbelievable. And then Pennsylvania, we were doing so good in Pennsylvania, but every Republican for like 38 years has lost Pennsylvania, some large, ridiculous number. And they always called it the bride that got away. I don't even know if that's politically correct when the press says it. Now, if I say it, they'll say it's not politically correct, but I always heard them say it, so for them it's fine, right? But they say the bride that got away because you thought every Republican for 30 years thought they won the state of Pennsylvania. It's a big state. And they didn't. So I said, we're going to win Pennsylvania. We had 3 congressmen there who were incredible. They said we're going to win. But I didn't want to tell that to anybody because everybody thought they were going to win anyway. So we're looking, and there's 1% left. And I'm leading by a lot. And even if I lost 100% of the 1%, there was no way I could lose the state. But they would not call the state. Now, I knew, in fact, I started accepting victory, because if I win Pennsylvania now, I win. And the other side is saying they're going to win Pennsylvania, but actually when they looked at the numbers, they understood it too. It was over. And then we had a surprise. Breaking news. Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin. And people are saying, where did that come from? What happened? Because we weren't we thought we were going to do well there, but we won it.
Because they started believing their own fake
And now
news.
they're in trouble. They're really in trouble. And I don't know if you saw, they had the most beautiful stage. In fact, I wanted to swap stages with them around midway through. I wanted to maybe swap. You know, they had that beautiful picture of the country and magnificent. You know, they spent $7 million on fireworks, and they knew something was wrong. One of their people, who's a high-level guy, said, we made a big mistake. We made a big mistake. We're going to lose. And he was telling that to people. And I felt we were going to win. But then all of a sudden they canceled their fireworks a weekend. And I said, because you know what? I found fireworks just don't work when you lose. Do you agree with me? Did you ever see one of your football teams, when they lose, have fireworks in the stadium? No, it's called depression. But they cancel their fireworks, and then just to be cute, we sent an offer in. We offered to buy their fireworks for 5 cents on the dollar. They had a very good company, Grucci or something. Grucci. They had a great company going to do their fireworks. We offered to buy it for 5 cents on the dollar. We never heard back from them. But they had this incredible, they took the convention center. And I took sort of a small ballroom, because if I lost, I want to get out. You know what I did? Here would be my case. I'd come up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. My supporters, I love you folks. I love you. It was a movement, but it was a movement that didn't work. Right? Right? And I would have said, I want to thank my wife. I want to thank my family. Bye-bye. I'm out of here, right? So I didn't want to really have this huge, expensive thing. So I had a ballroom in the city. But then all of a sudden we started seeing we were going to win. And we knew we were going to win because we knew we won Pennsylvania, even though they wouldn't call it. They called it at 3 o'clock in the morning. They should have called it like at 11:30 in the evening. I think because if you looked at the ratings, they were so high, they were making a fortune by not calling it, all right? But then we won, before Pennsylvania, the state of Michigan. Everyone said, oh. And then they started having the cameras. And then, I said it last night, you had one guy who's really good. I mean, he's really good on the maps, right? You know what I'm talking about. And that map was so red, it was so unbelievable. That map that, you know, they used to show it, and it was really depressing. Everything was blue, blue, blue. They had the blue wall. Remember the blue wall that was unbreakable? Boy, did we shatter that wall, right? We shattered that wall was shattered. That wall will never be the same. So we broke the wall. So now we won Wisconsin. Now we won Michigan. And I'll never forget the guy. He was devastated. This was not at his play. He never even thought of this. And his hand is like quivering, because he puts it on the map and the map turns red. Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin.
I'm wondering where you went.
Donald Trump.
I thought you ran off.
Oh, no.
I tried.
Oh, no.
I tried, but I
No.
can't get.
Please check this.
Because they're going to get tackled. The Secret Service agent turns.
Donald Trump has won
You
the state of Michigan.
do you not have a grasp on reality? You will get tackled by Secret Service agents.
It's very unfair to the people of Pennsylvania. They never got the glory. It's like the guy that, could rush for 1 yard and get the glory for it. They didn't get the glory. We love our people in Pennsylvania because they were there for us, right? So now he goes. Because they've been saying there was no way to get to 270, right? Remember? There is no path to 270. And the most they could get me to was 269. Remember that 269? I never once got above in their minds 269. They get paid a lot of money. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, folks. I'll tell you. I never once got, Jeff will tell you, I never once got above 269. I was watching it for months. That's where I got upset with Texas. I kept saying, Texas, we're going to win it. So what happens is the 216, and that's why I kept going to Maine. I needed that one. So now what happens is he's up, he says Wisconsin, he says Michigan, and now he goes, there is no path for Hillary Clinton to become president. Donald Trump and his great movement is president of the United States. So it's pretty good.
Check the time.
It was pretty good. And some sportscasters, really good ones at ESPN, said that's as good as it gets in terms of, they called it entertainment. And it is a little entertainment, but
that means they're going to call me.
in another way it's not, because we're going to get to work. And now, in a certain way, the hard work begins.
Come on,
and
man.
we're going to make great trade deals. And we're going to make you so happy and so proud. And Jeff Sessions is going to make you so happy and so proud. For years, the jobs and wealth have been ripped out of our country. Foreign powers have gotten rich, bleeding America dry, and not a lot of people know it better than the people of Alabama and the people of the South in general.
Used to have
Because
steel.
you know what's
we used to
happening.
have a steel and iron infrastructure. That's gone now.
But that's all behind us. We are going to stand up for the American worker like nobody has ever stood up for that worker before. Our economic agenda can be summed up in three very beautiful words. Jobs, jobs, jobs. There's a woman out there got very excited by those three words. It's exciting though, right? That is why we're going to lower our business tax rate from 35% down to 15%.
Only regressive
And you're going to
liberals.
see things happen. We're one of the highest in the world right now, just about the highest, and we're going to be among the lowest. And you're going to see what's going to happen. It's going to be beautiful. That is why we're also going to eliminate job-killing regulations and lift the restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale, oil, natural gas, and beautiful, clean coal. We're going to put our miners back to work.
That means we're going to
Our miners are going back to
by
work.
focusing on our own fields.
We're also going to
we don't have
rebuild
to rely on,
America's
the Middle East
crumbling
for oil, 'cause that's just kind of
infrastructure.
fun terrorist
And
crap.
boy, does it need it. It needs it. We have
Democrats are
spent
terrorists.
$6
why they're
trillion in the Middle East. We could have rebuilt our country 3 times over. It's time, folks. With all of that, we're going to knock the hell out of ISIS. We have no choice. I'm asking Congress to support the construction of new roads, bridges, airports, tunnels, and railways all across this nation. And we will put our people back to work. It's time to help get Americans off welfare and back into the labor market. Rebuilding this country with American hands by
Decrease
American
importation,
workers.
increase exportation. That's what we need to do.
My administration will follow 2 very simple rules. Buy American and hire American. And we're going to go back to the old days. We're going back to the old days. Remember? Made in the USA, you remember? You know, I did this last night. Let's do it again because it's like a free poll. You know, these characters, they'll spend $1 million for a poll and you can give me a better answer. Is it made in America or made in the USA? So let's go America first. Made in America or made in... Let's go America first and USA. Who likes made in America?
Everybody does. Unless you're an aggressive commie.
Made in the USA. Poll. What the hell, it's raining and miserable, but let's do another poll. Who the hell cares? We're all soaking wet by now, so it doesn't matter, right? So, Time Magazine just gave me Person of the Year, right? Nice. Very nice. Always a great honor. Financial Times, the Financial Times, which is a big deal, just gave me Person of the Year. Okay, you ready? Now, remember, we have half the people here are women. And by the way, thank you, women. I did so great with women. Those polls were so dishonest with women because we did great. You know, I used to go home, my wife said, I don't think any woman in the United States is going to be voting for you based on what they just said. We did great with women. We did great with the African American community. We did great. Remember I said, inner cities, I said, what the hell do you have to lose? And they agreed. It's terrible what's going on. We did great with African Americans. We did great with Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? We're going to build a wall, but they want it also. They want their jobs protected. They want safety. They don't want drugs pouring into our country. We did great. So here's what happened. But we did great with the women, I have to tell you, folks, because that was very embarrassing. I mean, those polls were so wrong. Those polls were wrong in just about everything, weren't they? They were wrong in everything. But, okay, so I get this Person of the Year from the Financial Times, and I get Person of the Year from Time Magazine this week. So which is better? Now, remember women, okay? Because if it's a woman that gets it, we have to think about that. So they do it because they want to be politically correct. You run the magazine. You run the Financial Times, or you run Time Magazine. Do you go Man of the Year? Thank you, darling. I love you, too. Do you go Man of the Year? Or do you go Person of the Year? We'll do Person first. Which is better? Person of the Year? Wow. Or Man of the Year? That's what I think. And it's pretty simple. If it's a woman, you go Woman of the Year, right?
Of course.
You know, right? They're all saying yes. So anyway, so we had a lot of fun. We've done well. At the center of our agenda is fixing our absolutely terrible trade deals. America is now running, listen to this, nearly $800 billion in annual trade deficits. I asked John Arrigo, the great car dealer, one of the biggest in the country, do you think you could negotiate, John, a slightly better deal than that? So we do all this work with trade, and we're losing, or we have a deficit of over almost $800 billion a year. It's almost like, what are we doing? Who are the people that negotiate these deals? And there's almost no country that we do well with. I mean, we have bad deals every country. That is going to change fast. Is that right, Mr. Arrigo? Go buy an Arrigo. Our country has lost 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs since NAFTA. 1/3. And here's one. When I first saw this, and I can say it because this is the last time I'll be speaking at a rally for maybe a while, you know? They're saying, as president, he shouldn't be doing rallies, but I think we should, right?
Of course.
We've done everything else the opposite.
Yeah,
Well, no,
the
this
media
is the
don't
way
think
you
they
get an
crap.
honest word out. Because you can't give it to them because they're so dishonest. They had a clown today. I didn't see it. I didn't read it, but I heard about it. They had a clown today in the failing New York Times who said that I wanted to have another World Trade Center catastrophe because it's good for my base. Can you believe this? No. Think of it. Think of it. What kind of a demented person would say that? No, think of it. Thousands of people killed. They said that I wanted to have another catastrophe like that because it's good for my base. Anybody that says that, and this guy is demented. He's a demented person. And that's why the Times is failing. And I went up to see him 3 weeks ago. I gave it a shot. And I had a great meeting. Everybody said I did great. Everything was great. But they'll never change. They'll never change, Jeff, no matter what you do. They'll never change. That's okay. We did very well without him, right? But what kind of a demented person would say that? You know, it's incredible. But when I saw this and these statistics, I said it must be a typo, because it's impossible. We've lost 70,000 factories since China joined the World Trade Organization. Think of that. And I said 700, you mean? I said 7,000 maybe. But the number is 70,000 factories, many of them right from Alabama. And you know it. It's the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. There's never been a jobs theft like's happened to us. And we're going to untheft it, folks. We're going to bring it back, okay? We're going to bring it back. And we're not going to be taken advantage of anymore by all these foreign countries.